What's up, YouTube? Got a yo-yo review to do today. This is the Duncan MKT. This is Chris Makita's signature yo-yo from Duncan. Came out at the end of last year, and let's talk about it a little bit because I got it for Christmas and it's a fun yo-yo. So diameter of this yo-yo is 54.9 millimeters. The width is 42.5 millimeters. The gap width is 4.45 millimeters. It weighs in at 67.1 grams. Comes with the concave bearing that is licensed by Diffio. 19 millimeter slim Duncan response pads, designed in the USA, machined in China. This yo-yo sort of, I think, confirms my suspicion that Chinese yo-yos that are smooth, that are really smooth, all have this like sort of powdery matte finish. Because this is the smoothest Duncan I own. Super smooth. Like it just as smooth as like a CLYW or, you know, Too Sick, anything like that. Like, so powder type like matte finish, super smooth. Been very good as far as that's concerned. So I like this yo-yo. It's fun. It's kind of a very rounded H shape, but it's a little bit small and a little bit heavy. Now, it is a signature yo-yo, and it certainly does fit Chris Makita's style, his sort of like flowy tech style, very well. But as far as being like kind of cutting edge on the yo-yo design, not so much. It's kind of more of a old school throwback a little bit. Here it is next to the Duncan Raptor. This is the OG Duncan Raptor. The rim is a little bit, like it's a little bit bigger in diameter than the Raptor is, but still pretty similar. Pretty similar width as well. It's a little wider, but not much. Here it is next to a Duncan 2016 Barracuda for scale. Barracuda, I would say, is a very standard sized yo-yo. As you can see, MKT, a little bit small, a little bit on the small side. Still full size, but on the small end of full sized. That being said, it is super stable, super long spinning. Performs really well. I would say it's sort of kind of like got that old school feel of like being a little bit small and organic, but at the same time, like it's really stable and really smooth, kind of like a new yo-yo ought to be. So kind of a cool blend there. Something a little bit different. You know, I feel like a lot of the old school throwback yo-yos are sort of, you know, high-walled and kind of, you know, they're smooth, but they're not as long spinning or stable as a more modern yo-yo would be. This sort of has that kind of old school organic type feel, although it's sort of an organic H shape because it's got these big beefy rims on it here. But it's very stable and very long spinning at the same time. So I can kind of forgive a little bit of extra heft in the smallness for how well it plays. Not a speed demon, but certainly cool for your, you know, techie stuff, and it's a cool everyday carry because it's not that big or bulky, so it's nice yo-yo to just have on you. And it comes in at 50 bucks, which is pretty solid price. Most metal Duncans come in around that price range, and you know, like I said, this is the smoothest one I have. But let's go throw it around a little bit. I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, guys, we are back with the Duncan MKT. So, like I was saying, it's not necessarily my style of yo-yo. I tend to like a little bit of a wider yo-yo than this, but it ain't my signature yo-yo. So, very smooth, very like just nice to play. Kind of a chill yo-yo. Not too big, doesn't really get in the way if you're like getting into like tight mounts and stuff. Very stable too. Like after you do kind of a techie trick, you can kind of like bust out some little flashy like flip around thing, like, you know, skin the gerbil and what have you. Nice size. Easy to get between your fingers for your chopsticks. So yeah, just very solid overall. Like I was saying, grind finish is great. It's that like powdery grind, that like powdery matte finish, which is awesome. The pads are good. It has those red Duncan pads in them that grip really well. I feel like Duncan does a really good job putting really nice, good pads in them. I never feel like I have a Duncan show up and it's slippy. Like, the pads are always really nice. Like I said, smoothness, it's, you know, is dead smooth. Super smooth. 10 out of 10. Smoothest Duncan I own, and I've changed the axle. So, super smooth. I think it's this powdery finish. I think they have an easier time getting them really smooth with that finish. Thumb grinds. Boop. Try that again. Thumb grinds are a breeze. Huge, huge thumb grind lip. Finger spins, probably not so much. There's kind of a big, like, nipple coming out of there. But there's enough room in there. Yeah. You can get them, but, you know, not going to be your favorite finger spin yo-yo. But mostly just kind of a smooth, flowy, techy yo-yo that's not that big, so would absolutely be a great everyday carry kind of yo-yo. Nice and smooth, and has really been playing well for me. But let's go ahead and we'll stick it on the desk. We will take it apart, and then we'll do pros and cons. All right, we are back on the desk with the Duncan MKT. So let's take this thing apart. Machined pretty well. I don't know who does these, but machined all right. You can see here, it's kind of very, it's sort of a very organic H. It's got a big beefy rim here. It's a very sort of organic step around there. And then there's a step around the response pad to kind of keep the string out of the gap. So you don't get a high wall feeling from a yo-yo that kind of looks like it has a high wall, which is very cool. 10-ball Diffio licensed bearing, very smooth, requires no maintenance whatsoever. One of my complaints about this yo-yo, and I talked about it in the Christmas haul video, is that these go back really far and the axle is pretty short. So you can kind of like get the axle stuck in one side, and if you don't have a tool to get the axle out, you can't get the yo-yo back together, because if it's all the way screwed in with the axle that it comes with, the axle that comes with is a little short, and if it's all the way screwed in, there's not enough thread there to thread the yo-yo to screw it back together, which isn't that good. I put a little bit of longer axle in to keep that from happening to me again, but you know, your mileage may vary. Maybe I just got one, they stuck the wrong axle in, totally possible. But try to keep the axle sort of in the middle there. That way, that doesn't happen to you when you're out without a bearing tool, because it happened to me. So, otherwise, really smooth yo-yo. Let's do pros and cons. Really smooth yo-yo, great grind finish. I love this like matted, blasted grind finish. Comes in a lot of solid colors. This black color looks great. I feel like black with the like matted, powdery finish just looks super classy. Like, this is probably my favorite just solid color with this. I think it really it looks good. It looks classy. Minimal engravings, says Chris Makita, Duncan, and then it says MKT on the one side. Very cool. Minimum engravings. Can't really feel the engraving either. It's one of those, like, you know, super awesome laser engravings that don't get in your way. So you can't feel the engravings at all. Very nice. Super stable. Like, you wouldn't think necessarily just by looking at it that this would be a super stable yo-yo. It looks like it has high walls, but that step and these big beefy rims, I think, help it to be really stable. Spins a really long time too, which is really nice. The size is very different from what I'm used to, at least as far as it being narrow, but that doesn't seem to like affect how I play it at all. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. And, you know, thumb grinds are great. It's not really designed for finger spins. That's not really what Chris Makita does, but it can handle them. You saw me do it. Great grippy pads. Duncan puts the red pads in there, which are great. Good grippiness right out of the box. That's kind of a big thing for me, is that if the pads are grippy right when you first throw it, you're going to enjoy the yo-yo because first bind's going to be good and tight. You're going to be able to get tight binds, throw it hard, regen it, all that stuff. And the MKT is really good for that, so it puts a good first impression in your mind, and you know, you have fun with it when you first throw it, which is always good. Packaging is good. I like the new Duncan packaging. It looks really good. They put the sleeve over the plastic now, which is very cool. And you know, not a whole lot of bad things to say about this. At $50, pretty solid signature yo-yo. I like what Duncan's been doing lately. They haven't been pumping out a ton of yo-yos, but the 4 or 5 yo-yos or whatever that they pump out, at least around the $50 price point every year, tend to all be really cool. I like their team. Their team is a bunch of really cool guys. I've had the opportunity to meet a few of them. Really nice guys. Great team, great players, and they're helping design some really great yo-yos. So, you know, a lot of good things coming out of Duncan. Duncan's always sort of been near and dear to my heart. I've thrown Duncan for 20-some odd years, and I really enjoy having some Duncans in my collection as well, and I like that I can get new Duncans that are signatures of their team who are cool guys. So, you know, nothing there. As far as cons are concerned, you know, like I said, it's a little heavy, not necessarily on the cutting edge of what is popular today in competitive yo-yo design. Usually you see wider yo-yos, but it is a signature yo-yo, and it is what Chris Makita wanted, and Chris is a really cool techie player. I would suggest you check out some of his throwing. You can actually look at the one he did for the MKT, and you know, he's fun to watch. So it's not really a con. I just, you know, if you like the wider, you know, lighter yo-yos that tend to be the trend today, you may not dig this as much, but if you're looking for something different than what everybody else is putting out today, the Duncan MKT is definitely that, and it's definitely a good yo-yo. So very cool. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. This is the Duncan MKT. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers to you. And I'll see you next time.